Hello and welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the SRA Grid Report. I'm your host. With me, as always, my fellow compadre on the racetrack and off, Mr. Bailey Kish. How you doing tonight?
I'm happy to be here once again. As always,
A little.
excited for another one.
You sound like you're going into that Donington race, not coming out of it.
Uh, uh, it's over. It's whatever.
Yeah, it was definitely one to forget.
For sure. It
But
was a tough one.
but from a commentating side of things and from a watch back perspective, it was some good racing, and all in all, some really brave efforts from everybody across all eight of these divisions. The conditions were pretty treacherous out there, but
They were, and I felt like they were ever changing through the race as well.
completely agree. But now that the last wet race of the season is over, we can look ahead to the last two rounds at Silverstone and Valencia. We can take a look at our first endurance event coming up that'll be post season 7 and our mini endurance that's going on this weekend with Assetto Corsa and the 2.4 hours of Le Mans. So let's kick things off where we normally do with taking a look at the track. And yeah, I mean, as you've heard throughout the streams and as we looked at last week, it's narrow, it's tight, it's got a lot of undulation to it, and I th- I think it's pretty fair to say that none of the dry lines work here.
No, and I feel going off as well. The dry line and trying to make that overtake was very risky. I mean, most of the time I would say you're probably sliding through the corner if you go offline, but unless you time it perfectly and you stick it, then I mean, good on you. But myself from our race, from the D5 race that I commentated, there was not much overtaking.
Yeah, it was definitely a follow in line, and like you said, it's tough to tough to find any grip off that dry line here at Donington, and there's not too many areas where you can survive these corners and be off the optimal line either. You really need to be turning in from that racing line in order to make the corner the way you want to.
Yeah, and a lot of these corners were apex dependent. If you miss that apex by, I don't know, 2 feet, your chances are you're either blowing the corner, going off the track, or you're having to go so slow through the corner trying to recover the car that you're going to lose a lot of time either way. So,
Exactly. Nobody was liking that, but we all did our best. Try to keep it in line. I think everybody went through at least one spin, be it in the practice just before their race, the race itself, or in their qualifying event. So nobody was completely safe. No matter how many hours you put in here, one of these curbs catches you out by surprise. A little bit of water somewhere you didn't expect it, or like you said, the fact that it felt like the conditions were changing throughout the race the entire time, even though you were
yeah.
developing dry lines and the level of rain did kind of seem to stay stagnant across the divisions. Like it wasn't a big jump from medium to light or something like that.
I mean, most divisions changed from what I heard, whether that was medium to heavy, heavy to medium, medium to light, light to medium. Um, so I mean, everybody kind of had a different situation, but I mean, they were all wet, so SRA curse did not happen this week.
No, and it's nice, but also not nice to see that it's gone away. I did kind of like that dry race possibility every once in a
Hmm.
while, but to actually get to use what you've been practicing with all week is nice as well.
Yeah, it added in that chaos of the 2.5 minutes that you have to set up your car before the race starts. But um, yeah, I also miss that factor too. Is any dry race that's supposed to be wet, I've missed out on. So
That
yeah,
that is a shame, as those do tend to be pretty fun.
I bet.
So let's take a look over at the standings here. Division 8 qualifying. Rob Moorhead takes pole position with his 296, a 34.692. Sizable gap to Y Boy Blue in second place with a 34.787, and Mark DC in third with a 34.835. Rob holds on to the win, finishing at 3 seconds clear of Y Boy Blue, who finishes 8 seconds clear of Mark DC. So they did hold themselves 1, 2, 3. Another podium finish for Ghost Rider Racing in their many teams across the divisions.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, a little bit of a testament to what you said that not too much overtaking, things just kind of stuck themselves out.
Yeah, they did. Big shout out to Mark. He was my F1 teammate this last season in our other league. So good on him. Finally finding some pace somewhere. So happy for him, and that battle for the D8 championship is very very close.
Yes, it is. It's still down to individual numbers here. Just taking a look at the website, as we did receive some clarification after last week's episode that we were referencing the wrong table for the team standings. So we're gonna try and go back through those as we go through this here. But yeah, the driver standings are still close as ever. Y Boy Blue at 402 with a 5 point lead to Kyle Cumber and Mark DC, both tied on points right now. Only 2 points behind them is Jeremy Yaron. So the top four could go any direction here heading into the last two races. And even the next driver back, Simon Barnes or Simone Barnes, I'm not sure how you want that pronounced, only 36 points back from the leader. So still very tight there. Actually, being on the website, we can take a look at this. The current gold leader is Kyle Cumber with 397, and actually Mark DC is a gold driver as well. Silver driver, Y Boy Blue, the championship outright leader right now, is actually a silver driver, so that's kind of cool to see.
Yeah, I did just notice that myself. And the next closest silver driver from him is currently on P8 with Roger Dismukes.
Yeah, and it's
So I think he's closing in on that silver win at least.
I completely agree. I think Silver Win might be almost locked up there, being up at the top of the board. But it's always interesting to see that we get that mid-season shakeup where some golds will get moved to silver, some silvers to gold, and then you'll still find someone out of class, just
Yep.
way across the board from the rest of their representation. But a few good races will do that to you.
Yeah, and those say you have the three bad races at the beginning of the season. Uh, you could be hiding basically, and you jump on those last five races and take a storming lead or jump up 20 positions in the standings. But you never know.
Exactly. The season is ever evolving and you don't really get any time to take a break. But with the team standings, Plan A Racing holds the lead right now at 747. Dark Helmet Motorsports OBDA 737, only 10 points back, and Hamster Powered Racing 691, only 56 points back from the lead. So, two Porsches and one Ferrari in the top 3 for the team standings. A little bit different to what the registrations are showing us this season, but nice to see that the Porsche is not just a fan favorite and kind of a winning car now.
Yeah, it definitely has great potential and seems a little more tameable than what the 992 felt like, just by the sounds of it and by the results.
Yep, cannot argue with the results. Division 7, Matthew Enriquez takes pole position with a 29.160. Another sizable lead, Brandon Rattler in second with a 29.485. And Stephanie Fisher in third with a 29.682. In the race, Tony Swan came out of nowhere and took the win, coming home 6 seconds clear of Matt Anderson, who came home another 2 seconds clear of Caden McCoy. So none of our top three from qualifying ended up on the race podium. And something I saw up in the Division 1 stream is that the undercut was extremely powerful here. If you were able to get out of the chaos and into some clear air where you could actually drive, not have to fight your way through to find references, get up to full speed, you could make up a lot of ground on drivers.
Absolutely, and I can attest to that myself as I pit on the first possible opportunity. I ended up actually making a spot up in the pits. I jumped, I don't remember who it was, maybe Herman Valencia. But yeah, the next lap I came around and I had undercut two people. So I mean, it worked for me, and it worked all the way up and down all the divisions. So it's definitely a move, and it also helped with visibility. You're able to see where you're braking, where the car was in front of you. So it was a lot of beneficial factors leading to the undercut.
Definitely, definitely. There's it's just one of those things. I mean, you cannot drive at full push when you've got all that spray in front of you. There was a good amount at the start of this race where I was really struggling to try and figure out like where the heck am I going? Where am I on the
Yeah.
racetrack right now? Like,
Yep.
and yeah, it's very powerful to get out of the crowd.
That's how it was at turn three on the first lap. Was I actually lost the car in front of me when we got to turn one. I couldn't see him in the spray. I just approached me out of nowhere, and then turn three came, and I just went straight off because I didn't know where the corner was.
Yep. It's uh it's a wonderful game we play, racing in the rain, but it
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun, no doubt. Looking over at our championship, Dan Meyer holding on to the lead still, 445 points, 47 points clear of Christian Maurice in second place, and Matt Anderson 55 points back from the lead in third with 390. Relatively similar gaps down the board as we go, but that 47-point lead in the front is going to have Dan Meyer in a pretty decent spot going into the last few races here. You know, you got to make a pretty sizable error to have that kind of points loss. He's been pretty good with sticking himself up in the top 5, top 10 consistently, so that's a 47 points is a lot to make up in two races unless that driver has a big mistake.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that losing that gap is easier than it is to increase it. So
Definitely. Completely
it's gonna
agree.
be two tough races for him coming up, whether he is got the pace or not. But it's gonna
Luckily,
be interesting to see.
it shall be. And luckily for him, they're both dry, so a little less curveballs to throw at him, but
Yep.
still with Valencia being a full new track to everybody, I'd be surprised if anybody goes into the last race with some form of confidence. Checking the splits out, similar to Division 8, but at the other end of the podium, Matt Anderson, the third place driver overall, is the silver leader, with the second silver driver being Connor Farrell down at 299 points. So almost a 100-point gap in the silver championship
Oof.
right now. That's
Yeah.
another one we might be able to get ready to lock out early. And team
Yeah,
stand
that's a big gap.
definitely. Team standing wise, Bitch Peas holds on to the lead. Stephanie Fisher being the lucky teammate of Dan Meyer, 805 points, with a 263-point gap to Wonderland Racing in second,
Yeah,
and a
that's a big one.
297-point gap to Sauce Engineering in third. Uh, yeah, pretty sizable gap. Awesome to see that we have a double silver team in the top three. Not often you see that. So
I mean,
shout
we have three silver drivers in the top three teams.
We do have three silver drivers in the top three teams, but a split team usually does well, and a double gold team usually does well. But two silvers, atypical to be in the top three.
Absolutely.
And Connor Farrell has had himself a few pretty good results this season, so I'd put him closer to the border of silver gold if anything.
I agree.
Division number 6. Wait a minute.
I just noticed this.
Yeah, you see that, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Uh, we had an error in the copy pasting of the standings, and I pasted the Division 7 race results for D6 qualifying. Let me pull that up real quick. D6 qualifying, Henry Garcia took pole position with a 133.6. Huge gap. Brett Swift in second place, a 34.567.
Wow.
And R. Hacksaw in third with a 34.730. Absolutely astounding qualifying
That's
showing from Henry.
wild.
That's a huge gap, man. Like, and as expected with a gap like that, he does come home to take the win, but only by 4 seconds as Durbin comes home in second place, and R. Hacksaw does hold on to third, another 2 seconds back. So relatively close filing from the top three there, but yeah, I'd say a deserved win. And with both the mechanical rhythmists being at the top of that leaderboard and knowing Division Six's standings, that's going to help their championship out quite a bit.
Yeah, that gap almost makes me wonder if Henry got like a last lap in that was like a better track condition because Durbin ended up having the faster lap in the race.
It had to have been some form of track condition advantage. Like
Yeah.
that is a very sizable, like 1 second. That's not a
Hmm.
couple sectors. So
Well, and the odd thing is that Henry Garcia is a silver driver and Durbin is a gold. So that kind of makes me wonder
I
maybe
wouldn't.
the golds didn't have that good qualifying session that the silvers did.
I wonder if the track was very dry off the start, and maybe that
It
was
could
the
have been.
first lap that he got to put in.
It could have been, yeah.
Gonna have to go watch D6 back, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Looking at the standings, Durbin holding on to the championship lead, still 495 points. 57 points back is Curtis Lee in second, and Henry Garcia in third place, 109 points back from the lead. So similar to D7, needs a bit of a mistake for Durbin to not take the championship here in Division 6. And Henry Garcia in third is your highest silver driver. Harrison Channing at 327 in sixth place is the second silver driver. So only a 59-point gap between those two. Silver's got a little bit more to play with, about the same amount of gap as the overall championship. So lots of action left in Division 6 in the driver standings. In the team standings, the Rhythmists at 881 points have a 246-point gap over Yeatco Logistics of Thomas Greer and Curtis Lee, and a 264-point lead over Champion Motorsports Space Race Junkies Roger Rodriguez and R Hacksaw. So D6's team championship is almost wrapped up. I think we might be able to wrap that one after next episode.
Probably. That's a very decent gap there with those two, and what we were just talking about with the mixed gold silver teams. This top six teams are split gold silver. So
And there you have it. The top silver team is in eighth, and the top gold team is in seventh. So nobody really showing off individually, but yeah, golds and silvers together making it work.
absolutely, we take those.
We definitely take those. Division 5. Christian Lorenzo takes pole position with a 32.765. Bobby Dockendorf in second with a 32.982. And Ian Byron in third with a 33.017. As Bailey runs away. Funny run. Christian Lorenzo does hold on to take the win. Uh, Coming home. Wow, that's a gap. 26 seconds ahead of Nick Cameron. 27 seconds ahead of Nick Cameron. With his teammate right behind him. Just 5/10 of a second behind Bobby Dockendorf. So a 2-3 finish from Team Stardust and a win from Christian Lorenzo. How was Division 5, Bailey?
Division 5. Trying to remember so long ago. 2 days ago.
Yeah,
Oof.
that's a lot of thinking. Yesterday,
Division
man. What are you
5
talking
was
about?
yesterday. It was Tuesday.
I know.
Division 5 was um not super eventful. Christian Lorenzo was man on a mission, league in his own. Uh, was pulling about a second a lap at one point. Bobby Dockendorf though had a great race. Both those two in the silver division, so they came out in qualifying, set the pace, and nobody in gold could even relatively get close to them, as you see here in the qualifying standings. Yeah,
Yeah,
then the battle for P3 was hectic between Ian Byron, Nick Cameron, and I can't remember who the third was.
Bobby Dockendorf, the driver who did hold
Well,
on to
Bob,
take third.
Yeah, Bobby actually had spun and lost it at the end. I think it was Pat Cockcroft. That's who it was.
Uh,
Battle for P3, and Nick just edged out Bobby at the end there, and Team Stardust. Big points for those two, which, as we go over to the standings, those two have pushed farther ahead in the team standings
no doubt. And
by
that
a
two
lot.
three is definitely going to help them. We'll start off on those team standings. The Team Stardust has wrapped themselves up to 733 points, giving them a 127-point gap over Champion Motorsports Electrified Hydration in second. And Madhouse Racing Area 992 is 156 points back from them. So one, two more solid finishes, a nice team performance in these last two races, and D5's championship should belong to Team Stardust.
I couldn't agree more. And unfortunately, DJ Watts did not make this race, so that also did not help their case. But you never know. Team Stardust could miss a race.
They definitely could. That's always an option. It's never an option you want to take, but it's always an option that can happen.
Absolutely.
In the driver standings, Nick Cameron holds on to the lead, 21 points ahead of William Brown and 23 points ahead of Martin Riggs. So still very close in D5. Even Lane Yates in fourth with 59 points back, and Ian Byron in fifth with 77 points back. So lots to be had there. Your top silver driver here, a little bit different to the usual, is Bobby Dockendorf in eighth place at 309 points. And second is Christian Lorenzo in 11th with 282. So a 20 point, 27 point gap, or 17 point gap, sorry, in 27 in D5 there for the silver. I had it right the first time.
You got it.
But yeah, still lots to play for. Nothing too wrapped up yet.
No.
Division 4. Scott Smith takes pole position with a 32.805. Ryan Garrity in second with a 32.925. And Chris Sweeney in third with a 33.0. About a tenth between all the drivers.
Pretty close.
Shit. Sorry. Long,
Disrespectful.
long day at work. What can you say?
I'm with you. I burned 3,300 calories today.
I was going to say
Thanks to my
33
Whoop
calories isn't too much there, bud.
3,300.
Proud of you.
Not a sponsor
In the race,
yet.
Corey Sarcone comes from off the podium. Probably won't be. To take the win. 2 seconds clear of Scott Smith. And Max Diggs comes home to find third place, only 1 second back. And that seems like it was quite the fight towards the end of the race as well, as one of each of the top three brands used this season, the Ferrari, the McLaren, and the Porsche, find their home on the podium. No Lambo in D4.
No, and I mean, look at these finishing times. The top three finished within 3 seconds of each other.
Yeah, I don't think there was room for a Lambo in there.
No, pretty close.
Looking at D4's team standing championships kind of shows me why we don't have any Lamborghinis up at the top. There's not too many of them in this division. Top three, Corey Sarcone at 516 points in the Ferrari. Max Diggs at 453, that's 63 points back in the Porsche. And Gordon Beverly 151 points back, but in third place in the Aston Martin. So D4 kind of close to being locked out, but yeah, no Lamborghinis until we get down to 10th place, and even the second one, 14th. It's the only
There's one
two
to
in the
seven.
division.
What are you looking at? Are you in the right?
D4 Drivers' Championship standings.
Oh, drivers. Sorry, drivers. That's my bad. Oopsies.
Oopsies. Just looking things over, I think there is only one team of Lamborghinis in Division 4.
There is, yeah.
So, yeah, D4 is not as much to play for in the gold or the overall side of things, but in the silver championship, Matt Schmitzer in first place at 292, Jitesh Katavkar in second at 288, and David Scusa in third at 265. That could go any direction.
That's really close.
And that's
Four
Lambo, Ferrari,
points.
Ferrari.
4 points split those top two. And I don't want to do the math for the third. Sorry.
I'm not going to try. I'm too bad at that.
Math is hard at this hour.
It definitely is. But yeah, lots to play for in the Silver Division 4 Championship. In the team side of
For
things,
sure.
Baseline Racing to Uranus at 811 points has an 87-point gap on Start Your Systems Mighty Morphin Rangers and a 119-point gap on Lunar Lone Star Motorsports. Nothing wrapped up yet, still need some pretty strong performances, and one of each brand in our top three for Division 4. Always good to see. Moving along, Division number 3. Qualifying sees Max Simmons take pole position with a 31.250, Henrique Listosa in second with a 31.452, and Jared Secombe in third with a 31.517. In the race, Max Simmons did hold on to the win, only 2 seconds clear of Henrique Listosa, and my fellow commentator Taylor Molina found himself up onto the podium, a mere 33 seconds back of second place, but up on the podium nonetheless. Bringing what I think is our first Merc onto the podium tonight.
False.
Where did I mess up?
Remember seeing D6, Tony Swan? Nope. That was qualifying. D7, Tony Swan.
Ah, there it is. My mistake. I was like, where did I miss that?
Yeah, no, I remember. I remember seeing a mark up there.
Fair enough. But another podium tonight for Ghost Rider Racing, and that will definitely help the conglomerate standings out. But I don't think it's going to help the D3 Championship standings out too much.
No, and that's unfortunately not going to stick. I'll tell you that.
Why would
Taylor
you
was a
say
little
that?
naughty. He was a little naughty that race.
Well, what kind of gaps do we have? Let's analyze this.
Let's analyze. Um, a lot
Two
to P2 at least. I
two
don't know what it is behind him.
2 seconds back to Jack. 7 seconds to Fire Queso. 13 seconds to Mike Gino. If he takes a
My
penalty,
goodness, dude.
if he takes a
They're all
10,
Ghost Rider racing drivers.
yeah, be careful. Alex Krochik in second, you might lose, or in eighth, you might lose to a Champion Motorsports driver too.
That's okay. He took out Doug and he took out Jared.
Oh
Both
no,
both considered Ghost Rider racing as well on the first lap. So yeah.
that's gonna hurt. That is gonna hurt. Unfortunately, we do treat lap 1 incidents a little bit more serious here, so we automatically upgrade you 1 penalty tier, which means your level 1 incident, it's double the penalty. Double or nothing.
Yeah. I filed a ticket on it too. I'm not even in the same division.
Just, what is this? What is this stuff?
Get this guy out of here.
All love, no foul. Looking at our championship here, Max Simmons does hold the lead at 452, but is tied with Doug Mitchell for the lead. I don't think we've had that before. Henrique Listosa in third place, 76 points back, and is our top silver driver. Jack Polyak is our second silver driver at 289. So pretty sizable gap there in the silver championship, but the gold could go any direction. And taking some early predictions, are we gonna have a Max and Lewis even into the final round?
I don't think they'll go even into the final round, but I think they will both have the same opportunity of winning in the final round.
I like what you're cooking there.
Just quick math, you know.
Just quick maths. I mean, it could be possible. Drop races
If
are
they both
always in
score
effect.
zero,
No, drop
yeah.
races are in effect. So depends. If Doug
I still
finishes
think they'd
work,
be on the same points.
they could be. You never know.
That'd be wild.
A man can dream.
I'll let you dream this time.
Awesome. I haven't dreamt in years.
Sweet. Here's
But
your chance.
a Mercedes, a Ferrari, and a Porsche in the top three for Division Three's driver standings. In the team standings, Doug and Jared for To the Moon are in the lead with 635 points. 103 points back is Planet Express Deliveries, and in third place, Start Your Systems Prancing Horses at 112 points back from the lead. Tied, actually, I'm going to go a little further here. Tied with TSC Ferrari Master Bland, and 1 point back from them is Plan E Racing. So, looks like second place in the team championship is up for grabs for any of the top five.
Yeah, that's wildly close.
Yeah, interesting that one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 drivers collectively will split by 10 points. So, very impressive from those guys, and that's going to be a very tight finish to the D3 championship.
Yeah, that's gonna be one to watch.
Division number 2, JD Daniel takes pole position with a 32.762. Just 3 thousandths of a second behind him, Michael Louis. And in third place, another 2 hundredths back, is Brian Anderson. A very, very close Division 2 qualifying. I believe it dried up in the second half for the
Yes,
gold drivers. Um, I
extremely.
I noticed that like I crossed the line right at the 10-minute mark, so I went for another lap, and even
Hmm.
on that lap, like it was noticeably drier. I didn't improve my deltas because my tires were cooked, but it was
Yeah.
like these gold drivers are gonna like this.
Oh, and I loved it because the last wet race, Silver set the better qualifying.
Yep, that's I mean a
So
rarity. So
it is very rare. I did notice it like lap by lap. My time kept going up, but I was just I was messing with traction control, ABS through the lap, and I was down to 4 TC, I think, on the last lap, and that's when I put in my best. So
you'll love to see it. In the race,
we take it.
JD Daniel did hold on to take the win. Michael Louis in second place and Brian Anderson in third. Things kind of stayed the way they were. 2 seconds between your leaders and 17 seconds between second and third place. The race was chaotic. Uh, I was extremely underprepared, and I'm just happy I didn't kill somebody. Like I did, unfortunately, take out somebody. Uh, they lost a
A
couple
specific
positions out of
somebody.
it, but thankfully it wasn't you this time. We both just had
No,
some fun with the
it
kink.
was just my better half that you took out.
Yeah, exactly. It's things happen, you know. Like we talked
Calculated.
about when we were going over the incident. Me and you were trying to outbrake each other, and I was on that. I was off of the dry line, so I got stuck out
Yeah.
in all that water, touched the rear end, but stuck it out and waited for him to return to track. Tried to be the nice guy. Other than that, I mean, like the spray, the spray.
The spray.
I never
Need
want to
say no
experience that
more.
again.
Yeah, that was brutal. I mean, we talked about it a little bit already, but you just couldn't see the car in front of you because it was
Honestly,
so bad.
like this picture behind us, you're in a replay, and time stopped obviously, but the spray is also a lot lighter because we're halfway through the race. You can barely see the third car that's behind Bailey.
He's literally right there.
Yeah, and he's right there.
Yeah.
So, and that actually is the aforementioned driver that I unfortunately took out. There's a couple corners before that.
Yeah. He has a name. Say his name. John Archie.
John Archie.
John Archie, my boy.
I'm sorry, John.
He forgives you, I think.
Thank you for speaking on his behalf.
You're welcome.
Taking a look at our championship here, JD Daniel has a pretty astounding lead on the Drivers' Championship. 114 points clear of Michael Louis in second place, and Herman Valencia in third, 121 points back from the lead. Uh, JD's been extremely solid this season, and I don't
Yeah.
think he's going to slip from that one. Herman Valencia is your top silver driver right now. Second place being Eric Boardman in eighth with 294 points. So just shy
Almost
of
100 there.
100, about 90 points. 94 points splitting those two. And your hosts, Mr. Bailey Kish, is sitting in 16th place with 232 points, 277 off the leader. And that would
I
also
can make
play.
that up. Ugh,
Yes, you can,
casually.
placing him 11th place in the gold standings, and myself 169 points, also 11th place, but in the silver standings. So, you know,
Beast.
we do what we do. It's been a
Exactly.
season.
Let us cook. Let us
Exactly.
cook.
We got time. Division 1. Javier Marquez, pole position, 31,505. Alex Chilcutt in his return back to this season, second place, 31,632. And in third, Eric Neville, a 31,655. In the race, that undercut that I was talking about came out strong. Michael Menning coming home in first place with his conglomerate, not really conglomerate, teammate in the sense that they're both Lambos. Jeremy Mercer in second place, only 1 second behind, and Ed Kerstetter in third, another 6 seconds back. Those drivers pit extremely early on, and almost immediately we had our eyes on them. We knew that, the undercut was going to be good. These guys were in some extremely clean air, and just the lap times they were putting in were way more consistent than those in traffic could put down, and proved to be huge. Like, I think it was, I don't know, 20 minutes left in the race, and we were able to say that it was Michael's race to lose. The pit loss is
That's
like
wild.
20 something seconds, 27 seconds or something like that. And he was like 14 seconds to the leaders. Yeah, it was insane. So
Jeez.
it was pretty interesting to see how powerful it really can be when you hit the strategy right on.
Well, it looks like Jeremy was right on his tail.
Yeah,
1.3 seconds back.
he was keeping it pretty close for the most part, but it was definitely Michael's race.
Wow.
Very interesting race. Definitely recommend going back and watching that. A strategy race for sure. Not too much of an on-track action kind of event, but one that yielded, sticking to the game plan and that it can work. Don't worry yourself about, oh, well, the gaps don't look right and I gotta push harder or I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Just stick to your game plan, stick to your guns, and look what can happen.
Trust the process.
Gatorade.
Gatorade.
Trust the process. But yeah, all in all, 8 divisions of hectic action, not too many starters, and not too many finishers of each race.
Did you want to go over the D1 standings?
We can, we definitely can, Mr. Gatorade. As our D1 standings, our leader currently, Jeremy Mercer, at 468 points, 12 points clear of Matt Lehman, and in third place, Michael Menning, 22 points back. So still lots to be had there, and D1 is kind of all over the place with its winners. I mean, Matt's had a strong showing this season, pulling up a few wins in a row, but Michael Menning's always a threat there in that Lamborghini. But interesting to see 3 of the top 4 drivers in D1 are in the Lambo. One's in the Aston, or one Aston in the top 5, and one McLaren as well. No Ferraris in the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit atypical to what we have seen. In terms of your silver championship for Division 1, Michael Griffith is in the lead right now, 298 points. Jeffrey Bray is in second, only 2 points back. And Nate Specht in third with 253 points, 45 points back of the leader.
Yeah, that's a tight one there. I also just noticed that we do have the SRA alien status now. Feel like we didn't have that for a while.
We do. That was instated 2 rounds ago, I believe it was.
Hmm.
And
Feel like I missed it.
yeah, it was kind of indirect. Not really too much was put out, but I don't think we did cover the 10 of them. So we can name those out: Matt Lehman, Jeremy Mercer, Eric Neville, Michael Menning, Peter O'Brien, Diego Paul from Casas, Travis Nordstrom, Mr. Sir, Joseph Kostovich, and Nate Specht made the honors of Alien this season. Ryan Yee does still fall into the Alien category, but did not compete this season, so was ineligible for the tag.
Hmm. Those are some crazy drivers, I'll tell you what.
No doubt. Definitely deserving of the Alien tag. I know Nate, for example, is saying, you know, lucked into it, shouldn't be an alien, but I mean, the guy comes in with low confidence and dominates most races, so
For sure.
like
Yeah, and he's
that
been really good this season.
that's an alien to me.
Yeah,
In the team
I could
standings,
agree.
TSE Vroom Car Drive holds the lead at 842, 133 points back. Champion Motorsports McLemmons, and 148 points back of the leader TSE Drive Car Vroom, which those names get me every single week.
Car Room Drive.
Car Vroom Drive,
Room
Drive
Car
Car
Drive.
Vroom, Vroom Vroom Vroom, Drive Drive Drive.
Yeah, I could see how that could be an eyesore to commentate on,
It can be sometimes. It can be.
especially with the hectic commentating style that Taylor has for you.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. Shoutcasting is a lot, but he
It
definitely
is.
does a stellar job with it. Deserving of the big mic.
Yeah, I did it with him for 3 seasons, I think it was, and got my own radio show now.
Attaboy. Moved himself into the booth full time.
I wouldn't say full time.
You got two stints in the booth a week. I'd say that's pretty full time.
Well, okay, we'll call it full time.
Anywho, now that
Any any hoozle.
any whoozle, now that the Donington party is finally over, no more
Thank
rain,
God.
no more shenaniganery. We can move on to Silverstone. And with Silverstone comes a little bit more familiarity for all of our drivers. 5.89 kilometers and a little bit different turn layouts to what's up on the screen right now. Turn 9, Cops Corner, is actually our turn 1 here in the GT3 series. Definitely much easier for a lap 1 sake. I couldn't imagine coming to that 9 corners in.
I agree. Just start off with it right away. Get it out of the way. That first sector, you got Cops Corner into Maggots and Beckett's, and then down the what's the straight called? I can't remember the name of the straight.
I think it's called the Hangar Straight.
Hanger Straight. That is right. You are right with that one. So the first sector makes for some great racing. It's also a very satisfying sector to do as well. So big fan of Silverstone.
Yeah, and just starting in that area for the actual beginning of the race makes the fact that we're pretty much forced to go too wide a little bit more doable through
Yeah,
Maggots Beckett's though, because full speed I think that'd be really hectic at Cops, but I'll take it every day of the week. This track is
for sure.
really tough to find the fastest line on, but definitely produces a lot of good racing in the dry. We've driven it in the dry, wet, day, night. We've done it all here, so everybody should be pretty prepared. It's super fast, super flowy, and yeah, lots of opportunities for overtake. Should be a pretty damn good show. A lot more eventful than Donington was.
Yeah, agreed. And just touching on that overtaking comment you made, uh, with this track, I also find it great for battling because you got a lot of right-handers that are immediately turn into left-handers or vice versa. So say you have the outside on one corner, you'll have the inside for the next one. So if you can just stick it on the outside for that one, you'll have the opportunity to have a chance at the next corner.
It's definitely a track that rewards confidence and, yeah, your ability to maintain those gaps and stance beside that driver.
For sure.
Those compounding corners, I think, are one of the best places to make overtakes in this game. But before we get to Silverstone, we have the Assetto Corsa 2.4 Hours of Le Mans that's going on this Saturday. Um, that's 2 days from now. Yeah, 2 days from now. I
Yes.
can't even do math on a calendar. Saturday, June 17th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Be there, be square. Make sure you get your qualifying stint laps in on the server beforehand and get yourself registered up on the website. We need some more registrants. I think last week we had like 8 or something like that, or 5.
It was a couple.
It was not too many.
No, it wasn't, but it was still a decent number.
Yeah, it's uh,
Let's see if I can find it real quick.
it's a team effort. I mean, it's not too appealing to register to something that's got X amount of drivers in it, but until people register, it doesn't get more. So,
Oh wow. Let's see, 6, 10, 13 so far.
not too bad. That's getting better. I know I'm not on there, so there'll be 14.
Mm.
So,
My name will not be making the list.
yeah, it is a shame that Bailey's not going to be there, but that means the rest of us can have some fun and
Yeah,
actually race for the
listen,
win. He doesn't have to
the
sweat
LMP,
himself.
the LMP2 table is up for grabs.
Exactly. So, your LMP2s, your hypercars, your GTEs, get in, have some fun, do a driver swap if you want to, because you can have teams of up to 2 drivers. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun event. I haven't driven Le Mans since my Gran Turismo days, so it'll be
That's
good.
all. It's a long lap,
It is a long lap, but a fun track. It's nice. The slipstream battles down the back straight are always fun.
especially in these cars too.
Agreed.
Very strong.
And as we move towards these last 2 races of the season, after this 2.4 hours of Le Mans, we have our first of the big endurance races that have been announced, and with it, some fancy graphics have returned. The
How about
9
that?
Hours of Valencia. Thank you to the graphics team for putting together this beautiful advertising graphic for our event here. 3 classes as usual: gold, silver, and open. 1 to 3 drivers per team, no stint or driver time, no max tire allocation, seasonal weather, so appropriate for what should be going on in Valencia. And as you can see, there's going to be a qualifying server. So just like the Nürburgring event, there's going to be that separate qualifying that's going to open up on June 16th. All drivers in a team will need to qualify. So the qualifying time that you have is a stinted average over your best qualifying laps, and your team will be an average of all of the drivers' best laps. So really need to go in and push. Like I said, no max tire sets. Uh, it's gonna be pretty interesting. Which I do see some conflicting information here between the graphic and our sheet, so I want to reference the announcement. It has been changed. 10 dry tire sets is the maximum, so it does not represent that on the graphic. Interesting.
Yeah,
10.
that'll be interesting to see because it does include quali.
Yeah,
Remember this.
that does include quali. So I mean that's one an hour and one for quali, but if you flat spot a set, if you slide, if I have no idea what the tire wear is like here. I don't think anybody knows what it's like really. So I don't know. It could still be a struggle.
I agree, and I think it's definitely going to take a beating on the tires with how demanding they are with the fast, heavy corners. So, just my educated guess on that one. But I'm super excited for this one. We haven't had a long. This might be the longest endurance race we've had since Indianapolis. That was
Indy was an
back
8 hour race.
in. It was it 8 or was it 9?
It was
Oh, it
8.
was 8. You're right. It was 8.
So Valencia
Yeah.
shall be our longest race.
Yes, and we haven't had one in a very long time.
It'll be very interesting to see how this one pans out. I know a lot of people are opting, or I don't know, a lot of people have been talking about wanting to try and solo it.
Oof,
Think
that's tough.
I'm thinking about it.
What, dude? You're out of your mind.
It's like it's not that bad. It's just 3 hours, 3 times. It's
You're out of your mind.
no big deal. Gotta have
I
some
would
fun,
never.
man.
After doing the 6 by myself, pass.
To each their own. I know there's a lot of people
No,
who have been taking a liking to the uh, Moza Endurance Championship that's been going on, so I feel like there's going to be a lot of interest in this event. I don't know. Maybe I'll want to solo it, but have to end up teaming up with somebody because there'll be good teammates available.
probably. Last second, you never know.
We shall see. So keep your eyes open. Get that qualifying stint in. That is tomorrow that qualifying server opens. If I remember correctly from looking at some messages, it should be somewhere around the midpoint of the day. So if you're at home, keep your ACC updated and open. And if you're not, think about Valencia. Because even though it's a month, it's going to come up pretty fast.
It's actually 23 days from now.
Pretty close. Just about 3 weeks. July 8th, 2023, 2:30 p.m. Be there. But for the weekend, Formula One is back.
Woot
He-
woot woot.
Heading to my stomping grounds, but in the wrong province. They're coming to Canada, and I don't know. I'm still kind of perplexed. I was on Instagram earlier, and I saw
Yeah.
photos of Gunther Steiner playing hockey in a Montreal Canadiens uniform, and he was in net in full goalie uniform. And I need to see that video.
I have never seen this.
I need to see that video. I'm gonna. I don't know. I'll send you that photo if I can find it after the podcast. But and they're
Maybe if I
trying to
just
have some fun.
Google them.
They're trying to have some fun.
Somebody is.
It's on the Haas F1 Instagram page.
Gunther Steiner.
Yeah, there it
Let's
is.
see.
Copy paste, send it to Bailey, inform my brother. But
Instagram.
yeah,
Oh, I just Googled it.
there's been a lot of news and hype coming into Canada between Aston Martin thinking that they're going to be the next hot shot to Mercedes trying to sign Lewis Hamilton for as long as they possibly can and being very close to being done a contract. And then the odd quote I read when I was out just before we were recording here that apparently Mika Hakkinen thinks in the next 2 months McLaren will be challenging Red Bull. Yeah, that's what I said
What
too.
is he on?
I don't
What is he
know.
on?
If he said 2 seasons, I could believe it.
Maybe
Well,
not the same. Not this year.
no, definitely not this year. I think that new wind tunnel is going to do magic for them because they do have a good aero department, but not this season, man. I do not think they got
No.
it unless they've got like a shit ton of upgrades sitting in the wings. Like I, for one, don't understand why the car is as slow as it is. Looking at the aero package that they've chose to go with, like, are the drivers just not good enough? But they're definitely good enough.
I
So
agree. Well, and you just think back to previous builds from McLaren is they're so straight line focused that like the downforce isn't as a priority for them. But I think they're kind of lacking in both sides, so it's not really working.
no,
To me, that just seems like an absurd comment to make.
as do I. I see that as well. Like I don't know where that came from, where you could have got that idea, but I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah, but I think going back to the Aston Martin comment about two drivers, I mean, potentially, but I don't think Lance Stroll's still good enough to get in that top three unless like both Ferraris, both Mercs crash. I don't think he has really a chance. Plus, the Mercs were looking good at Barcelona. They were looking pretty pacey.
Sergio
They got that
Perez wants to know
P2,
your
P3.
location.
Exactly. You got Checo Perez, but I think if Max Verstappen's not in your car, he's in that top spot.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to bet against Max in this day and age. And I mean,
Yeah,
the guy's talented and he's got the best car. And not much you can do about it. But
absolutely.
heavy rain in the forecast this weekend. Looking at thunderstorms tomorrow, thunderstorms Saturday, and rain on Sunday. Unless that changes, um, it's going to be some pretty meh conditions. Rain being a great equalizer for these Formula One cars. A lot can happen.
Yeah, drivers will cope better in the rain compared to others, but some cars are also better in the rain than they are in the dry, so it definitely could shake things up.
Definitely. Plus, with the wonderful pit entry at Canada, that extra straight line in the hard right-hand corner. I mean, a lot can happen just right there in the rain. I
Yeah,
mean, a little bit of a lockup, and there goes your car.
you're straight into the gravel.
Yeah. What do you
No,
think
I
about
get
the
it.
Canadian Grand Prix? I don't like
I
it's not my favorite Grand Prix to watch, but it's usually exciting.
It's bottom three for me.
Understandably.
Not a fan of this track. Um, I hate racing it. I don't. I think it's a boring track to watch. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's nothing against Canada. It's just I don't like it.
Yeah, it's definitely not the most exciting racetrack. Like
No,
if it was up to me, I would rather them go back to Mosport, but
I'd rather them sign another extension with Paul Ricard. But
you would rather have Paul Ricard than Canada?
yeah, I would.
All right, okay. You know what? We're looking for fucking co-hosts here on the show who want to have some, valid opinions. Like, what
You're
is
telling me
that?
you're telling
What
me
is
Paul
that?
Ricard is not better than Canada?
It is not better than Canada.
And why? In what way?
Cause Canada's not a shit track with stripes everywhere.
Coda?
It's no, okay. Coda sucks too.
No, it doesn't, dude.
Coda sucks.
Coda's what
Coda sucks as a
Coda's
driver.
goaded.
Coda sucks as a driver, not as a spectator. It's a great race to watch. I hate
I
driving the
love
track with
driving
a
Coda.
fucking passion.
I love Coda. Coda's on my top three tracks of all time.
See, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. I bet this guy likes Yas Marina too. What's next? He's gonna tell me Las Vegas needs to stay. Bye bye Monaco.
No, Las Vegas can go. I hate it.
Yeah, that
I can't stand it.
stinky porker of a track can go.
I think it's the worst track ever made.
Uh, I dislike Miami more.
It's just a money grab, is what Vegas is, dude.
Completely agree with you there.
I mean, and just kind of a side note, the new F1 23 game came out, early release for those who pre-ordered it. So I've been playing that a lot, and Vegas is on this game, and it's so bad. It's so bad.
I can only imagine. It does not look very exciting. It does not look like there's going to be room for overtaking.
No, there's gonna be a lot of overtaking.
Oh yeah,
Um, just an example, I was watching a Yarno Otmir clip. The second straight, the it's like the second DRS zone, I believe, was he was 8 tenths back, and by the time he got to the next corner, he was up 8 tenths.
the fuck?
Yeah,
That's that's that
it's
long
not
one where
right.
they're supposed to hit like the top speed. Like
365 kph, I think it
I was
is.
gonna say, like they're gonna set new top speeds there,
Yeah, 100%.
because I think
They're saying
that's
that it is the longest straight on the calendar, but I don't know. I feel like uh, Baku's last that straight there. It's got the couple corners in it, but it's flat out.
I
I just think you have a slower entrance compared to this one, so you're already starting at a higher speed at Vegas than you are at Baku.
true. I wonder because I know there's like specific limits on like how long a straightaway can be and stuff. I wonder how close it is to the max. I think it's like 2.2 kilometers,
Oof, that's a
which
lot. That's a long one.
that's a long straight.
Yeah,
Uh,
like a sand in my eye.
we are checking.
We're checking.
You are close to correct. So the longest on the current calendar would be Baku, but the longest in general is Shanghai.
Really,
Shanghai, Baku, Yas Marino, Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, which I am horrible. Is that
Imola.
Hermanos Rodriguez Zimola?
Yeah.
I thought it was something else.
What would you think it was? Maybe it's Mexico, actually.
I was gonna say I think that's Mexico. I thought Imola's Autodromo
Autodromo.
de Enzo Edino Ferrari,
Yeah, I think that was Mexico.
and then Monza Sakir Coda Catalunya Sepang Hungaroring Spa.
Sepang. Oh, I guess yeah.
Which track do you think has the shortest straightaway?
I bet it rhymes with Bonico.
Hockenheim.
What?
I'm kidding, it's Monaco. But only by 30
Checks
meters
out.
to Hockenheim.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But then again, what are they counting as a straight? Because Baku's not a straight. It's got turns.
I am not sure. Because, I mean, like 1,200 meters, just go back from the end of turn one and see how far it is. But I don't think it would be that far back through the S's.
Yeah, I don't know when it technically starts.
Yeah. I would consider it like after the last corner before the DRS zone.
Mm. See, I was thinking it as soon as you get around that corner, and then because I mean you're flat out the rest of the time after that. I can't remember the name of or the number of the corner.
Yeah.
It's the slow one, but then yeah, you're flat out through the left, or it goes right, flat left, flat right again, and then it's just done to turn one.
hmm
But yeah, I don't know what
I,
counts as a straight start.
I'd assume it'd have to be the end of the corner. Even though you're flat out, I mean, you're still making two direction changes.
Yeah,
But, you know,
I mean you're probably right.
little things, man.
Yeah, uh, it is what it is. But yeah, Canada sucks. So,
The longest of the old tracks is Fuji.
and I've done 3 laps on Fuji. I can't remember Fuji.
Fuji is awesome. I love that track.
I can't remember it for the life of me.
You can't remember Fuji?
No.
I'd be willing to accept that if you said it for like Twin Ring Motegi or something.
Oh no, I can't forget that one.
Anywho,
Fuji Circuit.
Fuji Circuit.
Fuji Speed. Oh yeah, I see. Down to turn one.
Yeah, huge straightaway.
I see now. Well, it's coming back to me a little bit.
It's coming back to you. Well, I can tell your brain is thinking about too much Formula One, and you want to go play the game.
I actually probably can't. I got some packing to do tonight.
Yeah, I'm just teasing you. I'm just teasing
As
you.
much as I'd love to.
I know you've been raving about the game. I mean, when shit's good,
Oh,
right?
I love it, dude. Especially coming from 22. Oh my god, that might have been the worst game ever made.
22 is not too hot.
No, it's not. And finished my last league race there on Monday night, and as soon as I crossed the line, the race wasn't even over. Alt F4 uninstalled so fast. It was unbelievable.
Bye bye. See ya later.
Exactly. It was the greatest feeling in the world. But now we got 23. We feel spoiled. Hopefully, EA doesn't mess this one up too, because where they've got it is a pretty good spot.
Fingers crossed for you, boss.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
So, from myself, from Bailey, and from the crew, thank you as always, and we'll see you next week.
Love you. Bye.